We've been thinking, why not drag race a fast car that we can actually afford? And then we kept thinking, why not drag race all of the fast cars that we can actually afford? This is going to be a fun one because this is the complete group of all of the fast cars you can buy for under 35,000 bucks, starting with the Ford Mustang Ecoboost, and then moving on to the Subaru WRX and the Volkswagen GTI, to say nothing of the Hyundai Elantra N or the Mini Coopers. And then here's the 3 Turbo Mazda, which you didn't even see coming, and of course, the great 6 Toyota.
This video is brought to you by the Haggerty Drivers Club, which includes a subscription to our award-winning magazine, 24/7 flatbed roadside assistance, and far more. Join or get more info at the link below. Well, here they are, the quickest cars you can buy for $35,000. All of the cars available with a manual transmission in this spec are equipped with one, because we're enthusiasts and that's the right thing to do, even if the automatic would have been quicker. We're going to start with the front-wheel drive cars, which, as always, are at a disadvantage in straight-line speed. And that's because the harder any car accelerates, the more weight is transferred off of those front tires, and therefore the less grip they have. And these cars accelerate pretty damn hard. The Volkswagen GTI is the quintessential German cheap speed machine. And there's a special edition this year called the 380, because it doesn't have 380 horsepower. It does have 241, a limited slip diff, and a 6-speed manual. And importantly, it comes on sticky summer tires. We've never tested a Mini Cooper, the hot hatch that everyone seems to have forgotten about. It's still here, it's still cute, and it's still available with a turbo 2-liter. You can't get a manual anymore because BMW hates you, but it's the only car here with a dual-clutch automatic, and the only one in this first race that weighs in under 3,000 pounds. Have raced the Hyundai Elantra N before, and it left everything in its wake. In case you're wondering why the Acura Integra and its twin, the Honda Civic Si, aren't here, it's because the Elantra N spanked them something fierce.
The Elantra N also left for dead the Volkswagen Jetta GLI, which is mechanically identical-ish to the GTI. However, the Jetta came on crappy all-season tires that had about as much grip as a greasy bratwurst, and a bowl full of buttered Spätzle. So will the GTI 380's summer tires give it a hope to keep up with the Elantra? And does the Mini Cooper S even stand a chance? Well, I say let's fornicate around and find out.
Often a GTI comes in dead last, but it does here, and that wouldn't have been the case if not for its ill-programmed traction control. Even switched fully off, it'll stop the fun. If you manage to get it off the line without it cutting power, well, it'll step back in right before the top of first gear, for no reason whatsoever, resulting in the slowest run to 60 miles an hour. From there, the traction control calms down a bit and the GTI starts to reel in the Mini, but it never quite gets there before the end of the quarter. The lightweight Mini's launch control gets a perfect start every time, and the DCT doesn't drop boost between shifts, and so it bangs out a 5.4 second 0 to 60, beating the GTI by 0.2 despite its 40 horsepower deficit. The GTI might be traveling 2 miles an hour quicker at the end of the quarter, but it's still behind the overachieving little Mini. Meanwhile, neither is any match for the Elantra N, despite genuinely horrifying wheel hop off the line. We were seriously concerned something was going to break, but the Hyundai held tough, posting an outrageous 4.9 second run to 60, and then out-muscling the others the entire way down the track, hitting the quarter mile a half second ahead of the Mini and 0.6 before the GTI.
That's nearing the quickest we've ever seen from any manual transmission front-wheel drive car ever. To get significantly quicker than the Hyundai, you're gonna have to send power to the back. Behold, our lineup for the second race.
Now that the offerings from GM and Chrysler are dead, the Ford Mustang stands alone as America's cheap speed option, and it's not messing around. Sadly, you can no longer get the manual with the 4-cylinder, but the Ecoboost's 315 horsepower is by a considerable margin the most here, though the Mustang is also, by a long way, the heaviest of the whole group. In fact, Toyota's GR86 weighs almost 1,000 pounds less, so its 87 horsepower deficit means their power-to-weight ratios are effectively identical. However easy to launch the 86 6-speed manual is, though, it'll still need to interrupt power on the shifts, unlike the Mustang's 10-speed slushbox. Speaking of launching, this is the tough one. To get the best results, all-wheel drive manual transmission cars need a full boost redline clutch dump, something you likely wouldn't ever do to your own car. But this isn't our car, so we'll happily beat it up for science. It also needs to be said this is a special edition WRX TS, which is way over our price cap, but its straight-line performance is identical to a base WRX.
This is probably not the Mazda you expected us to bring because it doesn't say Miata on it. However, it's probably a lot more of a hot hatch than you realize it is. This Mazda3 Turbo makes 10 horsepower more than the other hot hatch we have here, the GTI, and 50 more pound-feet of torque. Plus, it sends all of that to all 4 wheels.
That 320 pound-feet of torque is not only almost double the GR86's, but it's second only to the monster Mustang's 350. But the Mazda's motor has 400 pounds less mass to drag down the strip. If the Mustang is overt speed, this is overt four-wheel drive hatchback usability with covert speed.
How much speed? Well, let's find out.
America wins. Its big weight is no match for its big horsepower. In the Mustang's drag race mode, the automatic slam shifts like a lunatic, shifting through enough gears before the finish line to make it into a Fast and the Furious movie. It finishes in 13.2 seconds at a blazing 102 miles an hour, having hit 60 miles an hour in a stupid 4.5 seconds. The WRX's violent launch is a crime against clutchmanity, but the tough Subaru took it time and time again. It explodes off the line like it's heading out in search of new head gaskets. But it still took 0.9 of a second longer to get to 60 than the Mustang. Its short gears and high RPM power band demand concentration from its driver, or it's a rev limiter slap on the wrist, but it winds up in second place, 0.6 of a second behind the Mustang. The only naturally aspirated car here, the GR86 did its predecessors proud by coming in third. It struggled for traction off the line compared to the other cars here, and so it needed 5.6 seconds to get to 60. Still, it finished just 1 mile an hour under the century mark, just a half second behind the far more powerful WRX. The Mazda? Well, we're not sure what happened. It launched hard, but then its transmission took its good old time to shift. Then its turbocharged engine surged at high revs like it had ingested 87 octane from the clearance bin. We filled it up with premium, but it stayed upset and managed only 96 miles an hour through the quarter. Still, the Mazda is no slouch, and in case you're wondering why we didn't include the Honda Civic Si, well, look at the leaderboard. Even not feeling well, our Mazda managed to finish 3/4 of a second ahead of the Civic's identical twin, the Acura Integra.
And now let's race the winners. The front-wheel hopping Elantra N versus the rear-wheel drive Mustang Ecoboost. And to ensure the safety of everyone's driver's licenses, we're equipping both cars with a Valentine 1 radar locator. And now for a little bit of somber news. We need to extend our condolences to the family of Mike Valentine, the man to whom so many of us owe our driver's licenses. Mr. Valentine, may you find the radar before it finds you, even in the afterlife. And may I win this drag race without snapping an axle. A little bit nervous. And we have a winner, and that winner is rear-wheel drive. Not just the Mustang, but the layout. Oh, can somebody stop the Hyundai?
This was a race that was won entirely on the launch. The Mustang is easy to get off the line with a little brake torque and a lot of rear-wheel traction. Maybe a little more than it should have had, since our test car was equipped with a performance pack that included stickier tires and put it just above the $35,000 limit. So it jumped off the line, pulling an immediate lead while the front-drive Elantra struggles for traction. Remember that weight transfer stuff. The result is a big difference on the run to 60, with the Mustang getting to the mark 4/10 before the wheel-hopping Elantra.
Once wheel spin is no longer an issue, well, the two cars are actually dead nuts even. But the whole story isn't quite that straightforward. The Elantra actually pulls harder in each gear than the Mustang does. But of course, because it's a manual transmission, it needs to stop accelerating for each one of those shifts. But the two factors eventually just about even each other out. And so even though the Elantra is 3 car lengths behind the Mustang, when the Mustang crosses the line, well, it's gaining on the Mustang with a pretty significant 3 mile an hour trap speed advantage. Psych, it's not that fast. If the Elantra had its optional dual clutch automatic, the battle between it and the Mustang would have likely been even closer, although I don't think the finishing order would have changed. And besides, manuals are fun, and fun beats speed even on a drag race show. However, this group is proof that speed beats price, because each one of these cars is available for under $35,000, and each one of them is genuinely quick. So, ladies and gentlemen, take your pick for cheap speed. I know exactly which one of them I'm taking home.